Welcome back, everyone, to a very special episode of the Whispers from the Walls, A Week with Osprey. I'm John, and today we're going to step into a quieter, often overlooked part of life. The kind of quiet that doesn't soothe you. You know, it's the kind of silence that actually shapes you in profound ways long before you even realize it.
That's so true, John. You know, some families, they speak in full, open sentences. They have robust debates, they share everything. Others, they kind of speak in unspoken rules, right? A look, a gesture, a subtle shift in posture. But then there are some, and perhaps this is the most impactful, who speak almost entirely in silence, a heavy, often deliberate quiet.
And that silence, John, it leaves such an indelible mark. Today we're so honored to have Osprey with us, the acclaimed author of the Whispers in the Walls trilogy, to talk about exactly this, the silence she was raised in, the one that followed her, sometimes like a shadow, long after childhood. Osprey, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm ready to talk about it, as ready as I will ever be.
Osprey, let's start simply, at the very beginning. When you think back to your childhood home, what did silence mean to you then? What was its significance in your daily life?
Oh, that's a powerful question. At home, silence meant safety, or at least the appearance of it. It meant control, absolute control. It meant order, a very specific, rigid kind of order. More than anything, it meant do not disrupt the surface of things. Keep everything calm, keep everything predictable. In my home, silence wasn't peaceful in the way we often think of it, as soothing or quiet contemplation. It was expected. It was a rule etched into the very air we breathed.
Expected. That's a chilling word, isn't it? Because it implies a conscious effort to maintain it, a vigilance.
Exactly. You didn't raise your voice. Ever. You didn't show too much emotion, good or bad, it didn't matter. You definitely didn't question anything, certainly not the decisions of the adults. You absolutely didn't make a scene. And heaven forbid you tell truths that might cause discomfort or disrupt that carefully crafted peace. So, what you learned, very quickly, was to fold your feelings into tight, small spaces, to internalize them until they were almost invisible.
And children, bless their resilient hearts, they adapt. They find a way to survive, even when they shouldn't have to. They learn to navigate these unspoken rules because it's their entire world.
I adapted too well, Jane. Sometimes I think I perfected it. The art of being quiet, of being unnoticed, of not rocking the boat.
That's such a profound statement, I adapted too well. Because it implies a cost, doesn't it? What did that silence, that constant expectation of quiet do to you, Osprey, as a child growing up in it? How did it manifest in your young self?
It made me small, Alice. Not physically, of course, but emotionally, internally. I learned to move carefully, almost tiptoeing through life. To speak carefully, weighing every word before it left my mouth, if it left my mouth at all, and perhaps most significantly, to feel even more carefully. It was like I had this internal monitor, always checking if my emotions were too big, too loud, too much. If something hurt me, really stung, I swallowed it. If something scared me, truly terrified me, I kept it to myself. And if something felt deeply unfair, which, let's be honest, a lot did as a child, I convinced myself it wasn't worth mentioning, that it would only cause more trouble. I genuinely grew up believing that being quiet, being unobtrusive, made me easier to love. That my quietness was my most endearing quality.
It's so interesting how that works, isn't it? Silence becomes a vital survival skill in childhood. It protects you, it keeps you safe, or at least perceived to be safe, from conflict or punishment. But then, somewhere along the line, it just becomes this crushing burden in adulthood, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely. You hit the nail on the head, John. It was a survival skill. I didn't even realize how heavy it was, how much I was carrying, until I was well into adulthood and started to finally unpack it all.
In homes like that, Osprey, silence isn't just an absence of sound. It truly becomes a language, a complex system of communication without words. What specific lessons, what profound truths did that unique family language teach you?
Oh, it taught me so much. It taught me, definitively, that emotions were disruptions. They weren't natural, they were problems to be managed, or better yet, hidden. It taught me that asking for help was a sign of weakness, a vulnerability that would be exploited or ridiculed. It taught me that telling the truth, especially if it was an inconvenient truth, could absolutely get you punished, or at the very least ostracized. Above all, it hammered home the idea that staying quiet, just staying quiet, kept the peace. And keeping the peace, regardless of the internal cost, was paramount.
And that must have been exhausting, constantly policing yourself, constantly analyzing the emotional landscape without any verbal cues. It's like living in a minefield of unspoken expectations.
It was. Every clipped glance at the dinner table, every moment where my budding emotions were dismissed with a wave of a hand or a dismissive sigh, every single time I was told, don't start or don't be so dramatic. All of that just reinforced the idea that my feelings were too much, that my needs were an inconvenience. I truly grew up learning not to take up space, physically, emotionally, intellectually. Just minimize yourself.
And yet, Osprey, here you are, taking up space beautifully, sharing your voice, your story, your art. It's truly remarkable to witness.
Thank you, Jane. It's been a very long journey to get here.
Well, it shows, because when listeners pick up your Whispers in the Walls' trilogy, and I've read them all, they don't just read words, they feel the weight of that silence. The Davenport home in your books, it carries that same tangible heaviness, that cold, sterile perfection. Was that intentional? Was that connection to your own childhood a deliberate choice when crafting that world?
Oh, very intentional, John. In fact, it was the genesis of the entire series. The silence in the Davenport house, the cold perfection, the unrelenting expectations, the almost suffocating sense of propriety, all of that is absolutely rooted in my own childhood experiences. Lillian Davenport, the protagonist, she was born directly from the echoes of those quiet, often tense rooms. She carries the same confusion I carried as a child. She notices things kids aren't supposed to notice, the nuances, the things hidden beneath the surface. She understands silence in a way that only children from quiet homes truly do. For her, silence is a character in itself, a force that shapes her world.
So writing Lillian, creating that world, it wasn't just storytelling for you. It was a form of catharsis, a way to process your own history.
Absolutely. Writing her allowed me to reclaim my own story, to explore those feelings and dynamics without having to tell it directly, verbatim, about my own life. It gave me a safe distance to examine it, to understand it, and to ultimately transform it. It was incredibly healing.
You truly did, Osprey. You turned the language of your childhood, that profound silence, into atmosphere, into intricate world building, into a resonant truth that connects with so many readers. It's a testament to the power of art.
Yes, I let the silence speak in fiction, Jane, because it couldn't speak in real life for so many years. And in doing so, it found its voice, ironically, through words.
That's a beautiful way to put it. Now, as an adult, having done this incredible work, both personally and creatively, does that childhood silence still echo into your adult life? Are there still moments where you catch yourself falling back into those patterns, even subconsciously?
Oh, it absolutely does, Alice. It's not as dominant, but the echoes are definitely there. I still to this day find myself hesitating before speaking up in certain situations, even when I know I have something valuable to contribute. I still sometimes brace for reactions that never come, a phantom reprimand that lives in my memory. I still have moments where I catch myself apologizing for things that don't need apologies, just out of an instinct to smooth things over, to not cause a ripple. And yes, I still catch myself trying not to take up space, physically and metaphorically.
It's like a deep-seated programming that's hard to entirely overwrite.
Oh, completely. But, and this is the crucial part, I also gained something incredibly valuable from it. Because I was so attuned to what wasn't spoken, I learned to listen deeply, to truly hear what's beneath the words or the absence of them. I learned to understand nuance, the subtle shifts in tone or body language. I can read a room without anyone saying a single word, which is a surprisingly useful skill. And I think it's what allowed me to create stories with such emotional depth, because I grew up studying what wasn't spoken, the silent narratives that play out in people's lives. So yes, silence shaped me, profoundly, but it no longer defines me. It's a part of my story, but not the whole story.
That's such a powerful distinction, Osprey. And I know, just from our listeners, that many, many people will have grown up in homes just like yours, quiet in all the wrong ways, or full of unspoken rules. What do you want them to know? Those who are still carrying that weight, still navigating those echoes.
I want them to know, first and foremost, that your silence was a strategy. It was a brilliant, effective strategy that kept you safe during a time when you needed safety the most. It was not a flaw. It was not a weakness. It was survival. And that shrinking, that making yourself small, it kept you protected back then, but it doesn't serve you now. You don't need it anymore.
That's such a vital reframe. It changes everything.
It really does. And I want them to hear this. Your voice is allowed. Your feelings are allowed. You are allowed to take up space, to express yourself, to be fully, authentically you. You can unlearn the quiet. It's a process. Absolutely, it takes time and courage, but it is entirely possible. You can reclaim your space. You can speak without fear, even if that fear still whispers sometimes. And you can absolutely rewrite the story of your own life, the same way I did through my writing, and the same way I continue to do every single day.
That message of hope and empowerment is so incredibly important, Osprey. Thank you for sharing such an intimate and insightful perspective on something so many of us have experienced but rarely articulate.
Thank you, Osprey, truly, for walking us through the quiet rooms of your childhood, and for showing us that even the deepest silence can be a profound beginning, not an ending. It's truly inspiring.
It's been a privilege to share. Thank you.
And for all of you who felt that resonate, we highly recommend diving into Osprey's Whispers in the Walls trilogy. You can find it Amazon. It's a truly transformative read that brings so much of what we discussed today to life.
And for our next episode, we're going to continue this journey of healing and transformation. We'll be discussing motherhood, the kind that heals, transforms, and challenges everything that silence once taught you. It's going to be a powerful conversation.
So stay close, everyone, because as Osprey has so eloquently shown us, sometimes the walls remember. Until next time.